Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you coming out and hearing about Starship Junkyard. So, what is Starship Junkyard? Well, it's a game changer. Well, at least it's a game and it changes some things. So, what we know about Starship Junkyard is it's become a great team building exercise. It was originally created as a fun, tongue-in-cheek way to do sales training, but it's become so much more than that. We also have it in a few game pubs, so if you want to go down the street to Pieces here, it's on the shelf. You can pull it down and play it with your friends sometime. So I'll tell you about how this happened and where we think it's going. So first, a little bit about me. I'm a badass business guy. I've been working on projects for a long time. I'm one of the people who helped make the bottled water business a huge business. My sales training manual called Setting Coolers set the 5-gallon bottled water business on fire. I may be part of the reason there's plastic everywhere, but we were talking about recycling then, so that part's not my fault. That's somebody else's fault. I also helped make self-storage a huge business. My 2 books on self-storage helped really transform that business, both from the marketing side and from the sales side. I'm one of the people that helped turn self-storage into a digital marketing, new age kind of business. And over the years, I've created billions of dollars in revenue and asset value for clients and stakeholders. I haven't quite gotten to $1 billion for myself yet, but working on it. So, throughout all of this, my biggest frustration has been in sales training and team building. It's just difficult to do. If you've ever been involved in it, if you've been the person getting trained, a lot of times you're falling asleep or going, oh, I'll never get that hour back. Or if you're the person doing the training, sometimes you think, man, I came with such good stuff, why is everybody sleeping? It's difficult. And if you're a big boss, you look at the numbers before sales training and after sales training and you go, what did we spend the money for? It's been frustrating. So I had already created a dynamic sales training system. It's a do-it-yourself online course that's kind of a fun series of journeys. You can subscribe to it now if you'd like. But it was missing a huge element. I knew I needed to add some kind of fun game element to it. So that's what I did. I went to a local game jam in Columbia, Missouri, my hometown, put together a group of game aficionados and artists, and we created a game. And it turned into so much more than just a sales training exercise. We've already done several tournaments. As I say, we have it in a few pubs. We've done already some sales training and team building work with it. Here in the red, that's Clover. She won our first ever tournament. Now don't be fooled. She looks very nice and friendly, but she is vicious at this game. You have to be careful if you ever play with Clover. One of the great things about Starship Junkyard is how it breaks down barriers. This is from a tournament that we did in Columbia, Missouri at the offices of the Regional Economic Development Group. This group here, they were all complete strangers 30 minutes before this photo was taken. So it really helps to break down barriers and get people having some fun together, which in training and team building is what it's all about. This is Frank. He won our tournament recently. Let's see. Well, you probably can't hear what he says. Well, let's see if it works. I didn't test the audio. No. Audio fail. That's not going to work. Anyway, you can see how much fun he was having. Go to YouTube. You can see what he's saying. Hear what he's saying. Look at the beautiful cup he won. How proud he is. Gotta have a little fun. So one of the things we've noticed in doing team building exercises with people, like this one here I'm doing with the Evoke Group, a marketing company in Columbia, Missouri, is how it helps to uncover all of the office dynamics that don't always come out into the open. So one of the things that one of the leaders of one of these sales training exercises told me, this was Ben Muzzy from 76 Fireworks. He said that this game forces confrontation in a way that's just impossible to do in normal day-to-day office work. And it brings out a competitive nature that you can't get just in your day-to-day work. So it really helps to uncover and work on all kinds of office dynamics, as well as treating sales training in a very tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, satirical manner, which works great. So it's been a lot of fun to see it develop. So who do we think our customers are? Well, we see several different paths happening here. So people who do sales training and consulting and sales coaching can use this as a wonderful tool in their current curriculum. We also see that just game aficionados enjoy it a lot. So we're putting it out into game pubs where people can come and play it and enjoy it. And we're planning on doing a Kickstarter for folks who just love to support Kickstarter games, because we think there's a lot of ways we can add some fun premiums to it and get more people playing the game and laughing and having fun. So who are we competing against? We're competing against all the lame and ridiculous things that people do now for sales training and team building, as well as some excellent sales training systems like Sandler, Carnegie, things like that are really good but take a different approach. So why do we think we can compete? Well, because it's just silly and people have a good time playing it, and they laugh and they get competitive with each other, and it's just a lot of fun to see the ups and downs. So one of the things that this game really does that's fascinating from a sales training point of view is it helps to mimic the emotional ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster you get on as a salesperson. Because one moment you think you have a deal and then your buddy steals it from you, and then it all goes to mayhem for a moment. So it's a lot of fun. We've done some fun testing in marketing classes at Columbia College, and we've really seen it in a lot of different places, but we still have some challenges. So there has to be a certain number of people playing the game before word spreads that this is fun and more people buy it. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is to connect with the trainers and consultants and business coaches who can use this in their current work with their clients. So later on, you're going to ask me what your community can do for me. Well, I'm looking for referrals. People you know who currently run organizations, who do team building and training, so that I can go bring this to them and allow them to plug this into their system and have a lot of fun with it and see some results happening. And then I've got an offer to you. If any of you want to buy the game, I'll come and personally do a facilitated training session with you. Of course, I probably can't do all of yours, but you know, I can certainly do one or two of them if someone wants to come up later and say, I'll do it, I'll do it. You'll have a lot of fun. I can guarantee that much. So, if you want to take a drive down I-70, later in the month we're doing a tournament in Columbia. You can come down and have some fun with that. Or, since we're here in St. Louis, just go down the street to Pieces and ask them to take Starship Junkyard off the shelf for you, and one of their curators will get you started and help you with the game. And actually, if any of you want to stay around after 1 million cups, I'll teach you the game too if you want to stay and play for a little bit. I know some of you have some real work to do, but if you don't, it would be some fun to do that. So, this is our fun game that we're putting out there, and we hope you have a chance to play it, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you have about how we created it, what the process looks like, how this could even maybe become a business someday. Yes?
All right, hold on. Whoa,
oh,
don't get ahead of yourself. Okay.
Joe,
I
crowded you out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
seriously.
All right.
Wait for the microphone.
Okay.
And you should know better than to start answering.
So what's the cost on the game?
So it depends on how you run the game. So we see the price point moving anywhere from you just buying a copy direct for $30 to your company hiring me to do a week-long retreat in Hawaii where we can really play the game in depth, and that might cost you $100,000.
Okay, I like your comic approach. But serious. So
Comic?
Is
No, I'm
that a
serious.
copy? Is that a copy that's available to buy?
Sure, I'll sell it to you.
All right, because I got $30 because I'd like to play it.
Sure.
But my question actually then is, what from your water bottle sales experience is going to be? That seems to be your marquee thing. What from that experience is in this game?
So what's in this game is a tongue-in-cheek approach. What's in this game is the way to mimic the emotional ups and downs. And then what's in this game also is how to get a team working together and fighting together, and at the end having a lot of fun and laughing about all the working and fighting they did. It's Joe.
Do you think the game would be good for an exercise for like a sports team? And so when you say team, do you mean business team or any kind of team?
When I say team, I mean any kind of team. Your family, your sports club, any kind of team. Yes. And I think it would be great for a sports team because the sports team is built on competition and cooperation and how those two things mix together. So I think that'd be great. Yes.
Hi, a good presentation. I really like the product. I am wondering why it cannot be called as employee engagement game rather than sales engagement. I don't like it called a sales engagement tool rather than, if you call it as employee engagement tool, you've got wider market and also everybody else will be keen to look at your product.
I think that's a wonderful question because words are power and how we describe things really makes a difference. And calling it employee engagement is probably far better than some of the things I came up with. Because actually I was talking to some of the folks earlier and I was trying to find a mashup between icebreaker and team builder, and I came up with team breaker, and somehow I don't think that's going to work. So maybe employee engagement is much better.
So I get a free game. Woohoo!
Yes, leave me your card, I'll get you a free game. Wow. Sorry, the rest of your questions were good, but come on, you got to admit, that was a good twist, right?
Great presentation, love the product. In one of your slides you mentioned that there's kind of a disconnect for traditional sales training between the numbers and like the results of the actual sales training.
Yes.
I'm curious what numbers you've got for Starship Junkyard or how you're going to get those numbers so that you can go into a sales trainer and say this is the impact that this game has.
That is a great question, because just playing the game one time with the team isn't going to do anything except everyone will have something to laugh about for a week or two, which will help the atmosphere in the office or the atmosphere in the group. But by building a curriculum out of it that you then fine-tune to whichever team you're working with or whichever team you're building or engaging, then you can go ahead and create a set of metrics that you will decide to move. So we'll say, okay, the metric we want to move is whatever it is. You play the game around that metric and then measure it at some point later after you've had a chance to work on it. And then I think you have something to prove. Because what I can prove right now is only through a decibel meter, from people laughing and yelling at each other, is all I can prove now.
Questions?
What's the actual object of the game?
The object of the game. So the real object of the game is to laugh and scream a little and have a good time. That's the real object of the game. And then from that moment, that mood, when you've interrupted all of the other stuff everybody's worried about at work, you can take that now lighthearted, fun, relaxed mood and use that to boost whatever you're trying to work on. So if you're playing this as a family game and you just need to kill some time before everybody goes to dinner, now everybody's going to dinner in a great mood. Or if you're trying, as he suggested, to move the numbers, You play the game, now everybody's in the mood to work on whatever that phrase is they're going to perfect, whatever that routine is they have to work on, and it's really an energy builder from that respect.
Okay, to me, that's the goal of the game, but the object, I mean, is there a winner? Do you have to work as a team in order to win the game?
You mean from game mechanics?
From game mechanics, yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
that's a different question. Yes, so from game mechanics there is a winner. And so here's the premise of the game. You might actually want to know that. So all the characters in the game are some has-been, washed-up sales superstars from all across the galaxy who've gotten in all kinds of legal trouble, and they're stuck on some lousy planet in a quarter of a galaxy nobody cares about, and they're selling used starships to some really shady characters. And they're fighting for commissions. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most commissions wins. So it's pretty much like any other sales job anyone's ever had.
All right. Well, I have a question. So obviously you can't be everywhere. You know, the Tron package can't happen for everybody. Is there going to be some sort of online support, some sort of like YouTube channel or something like that to not only market it, but help people say, well, we want to work on this metric. How do we develop that through the game?
Yes, so that's a great question. So we've already started developing some of those properties. So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all starting to build and add little bits and pieces here. But what will be required is to have partners working on their particular thing and using the game to drive their particular mission, metric, and so on. And all of those could have curriculum and channels built around those. So I see for what we would do in the beginning is to start kind of moving step by step down some of those paths and let other partners pick those up.
So then if your game is built into some type of sales curriculum that maybe some sales training professional implements in their consulting business, are you planning on having conversations about how the bridging of that intellectual property works together?
Yes, so there would be different levels of licensing available depending on how someone would use the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, that's a great question.
All right. Okay, well then I guess we'll go with the question so I don't get yelled at by certain members of the audience. What are you doing here? What can the community do for you?
So what you can do for me, one is to just think about who you know who could use something like this and get me some introductions. Or if it's something you think you could use, let's talk later and figure out how you can at least play it and have some fun with it and then think about where it goes next. So that would be my ask to you, really, is I'm looking for referrals for people who may be able to use this in their current position to help their employee engagement grow.
And where is it available in St. Louis?
You can go play it at Pieces Cafe,
Right.
the Game Cafe.
But buy it?
You can also buy it online at thegamecrafter.com. Thegamecrafter.com. And just search Starship Junkyard.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. Thank you.